Okay, welcome back to part 2 of the Lisbon, Portugal edition of my little videos here. We talked about a couple things in the last video, like food and just the area in general. I will, I guess, get going with actual Lisbon itself, also known as Lisboa. Again, like my last video, I am not going to attempt to say these words in Portuguese because I'm gonna mess them up. Anyway, so there is a gorgeous castle right in downtown Lisbon. It's up the hill, so you have an amazing view. We went there our first night, and we were there, perfect timing for the sunset over the ocean. It was just gorgeous. Lots of history in this area, and this is a nice old castle. And having said that, it's not really safe. So I was worried most of the time that we were there, like actually in the castle, because you have these very small, very narrow steps going all the way up, and not a whole lot to catch you if you tip over or if your kid falls or anyway. So I was pretty much panicking the entire time, but it was gorgeous. I just kind of made it quick up, quick down, done. Okay, so definitely wait to have your wine until after you get your kids safely down to the ground level. And they do also have some little wine carts, so with wonderful wine. So we got some drinks after that. Another area that's in Lisbon, but they have another name for it, is Alfama. And there is a nice cathedral over there. There's a whole bunch of, it's again up another hill. So if you're walking, you burn some calories, but beware. I would take, there's this cute train, and actually it's the oldest little tram in Lisbon. It's been in commission since the 1930s, so it's super old, not super comfortable, but it gets you to where you need to go. I would take that tram up to Alfama. I didn't really feel very comfortable walking up and down that hill, only because the sidewalks are like this big and the bus goes by and, kind of brushes up against you. So again, not great with kids. So there's a lot of things I'm saying about, not so great with kids or pay attention. The thing is, it's doable. So don't listen to my neurotic ranting about this. Just pay attention to the kids. It's just fine. Again, not something that we're used to from America. We have different standards of, a sidewalk has to be this big or whatever. But so definitely something that caught me off guard and made me quite uncomfortable. But again, as long as you got your kid by the hand and they're not in the streets, nobody should get run over. So be safe. And don't tell them oh, Jesus. Just be safe. Anyway, all right, so that tram is one of the things that we did. We checked out a couple things on that. It's only like €3 euro per person, and I don't even know if they charge for the kids. There's another thing in downtown Lisbon. There's this huge elevator, and I forget the name of it, and I didn't take the time to go look it up before I started this video. So I apologize for that, but it's gorgeous. It brings you up above the buildings, so you get to see an amazing view of the ocean on one side, the mountain or whatever with the castle on the other side. It's when we got there was quite a line because it was right before sunset. This was another day. There was quite a bit of a line. So we started wandering around, and turns out rather than standing in that line and going up the elevator, you can just walk around the back of the building behind it, and there's a bridge that takes you right over, and all you have to do is walk up a spiral staircase, which I wasn't. So I'm not a fan of heights, so A lot of things stressed me out in this trip, but I still absolutely loved this trip. It was one of my favorites. But again, spiral staircase up to the top of this elevator, which is very, very high. So don't look down if you're a wimp like me. But it was just breathtaking. Very, very nice. Everything was just gorgeous. And again, like I said, we didn't have to wait in line because we walked. Alrighty. There were a bunch of like squares, and I don't really know how else to say that, but like a big old area with a bunch of restaurants and a big open area with restaurants around it and just touristy stuff. Some shops. There's lots and lots of shops. There's shops, you know, that are normal prices, and then there's there's an area that's just really high price, and you're not going to find, I mean, you're probably going to have to get buzzed into certain stores and Prada and Gucci and all that fancy stuff. I didn't go to that place, but the location that I was at, it was great. I bought some shoes, some boots, and some just a bunch of souvenirs and lots of good food. So one of the suggestions that someone gave us, and I never really thought of this, and I think I might have mentioned it in another video, but if you want the best food at a location, look at the menu, and if you can't read it, go in. Meaning, if it's got 4 different iterations of the menu, one in Spanish, one in English, one in German, it's a touristy restaurant, so the prices are probably going to be marked up, and the food is probably not going to be as good as some really authentic, maybe as good, but not as authentic to the area as some mom and pop shop that you just walk in and there's the menu is just in the local language. Okay, so talked about that. Okay, so one of the days we spent about 3 hours, 2 or 3 hours total on this thing called the hippo trip. It was really cute. I definitely suggest it. If you're going there with kids, definitely do the hippo trip. It's basically this big, huge amphibious vehicle. So you take off in this thing, and you drive around the city for a little while, and they kind of give you a tour and point out little things. This is this is that. And the kids are all excited. But then you go over to the shore and you go into the water. So it goes from being a car or whatever to a little boat. So navigate down the river, and they point out a bunch of the landmarks that you don't get to see from the ocean. So, and there's a few that the sculptures are made to be seen from the ocean, especially because this is a city that has a lot of import-export, through this river that leads to the ocean. So you can see all kinds of stuff. The tower, the Belém Tower, that explorer sculpture thing. On the other side of the river is the Christ King sculpture. If you think of Brazil, that Christ, that big tall Christ that you think of when you think of Brazil, that's what they have there, and it's just as big almost. It's only a couple meters shorter. I want to say like 3 meters shorter than the one in Brazil. You can go all the way up to the top of it. We did. It was windy again. I don't know how I always end up on these things that are so high, as much as I hate heights, but I do it anyway and torture myself, but it's always worth it in the end. We'll see what my doctor says when they're doing my blood pressure next time. Anyway, okay, so Christ King, that's in Almada, and again, just take a taxi and head on over there. Taxis are not expensive. Everything is priced reasonably over there. One amazing day, we rented a vehicle with a driver. And he was awesome. His name was Antonio. If you need his information, I have his number still. And I definitely suggest this guy. For all of us, and there were like 8 of us, he took us all day. He picked us up and drove us around, drove us to Sintra. Also one of the places that I would definitely see while you get there. God, I'm at 10 minutes again. All right, let me stop this video or else I'm never going to be able to upload it. And we will end with part 3. Okay, see you in a second.